Topic 3. When memory becomes a weapon. Memory is not a record. It is a reconstruction. Every time you recall a moment, you don't retrieve it. You rewrite it. And with every retelling, every replay, every private autopsy of the past, the version you recover becomes more obedient to your pain. That moment you regret? It didn't happen like that. It happened worse because your brain keeps editing it to hurt you better. This is not metaphor. This is neurobiology. The hippocampus, central to memory consolidation, doesn't store experiences like files in a cabinet. It stores networks of associations, sensory details, and emotional tags. When you recall a memory, those components are reassembled through the prefrontal cortex, influenced by your current emotional state. If you're ashamed now, the memory will take on shame. If you're angry, it will grow violent. Your memory isn't a mirror. It's a stage, and regret is its director. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus demonstrated this horror decades ago. In her work on false memory formation, she showed how easily memories can be distorted, implanted, or rewritten. People remember things that never happened, or misremember what did, especially under emotional stress, especially when they're trying to make sense of pain. Your regret doesn't replay the moment to understand it. It rewrites it to justify itself. This is called memory reconsolidation, a process where every retrieval of memory opens it to modification. And the more you remember, the more you distort. The scene you revisit over and over, it's no longer yours. It's a weaponized replica, sharpened by time and emotion, tailored not for truth, but for suffering. And still, you trust it. Still, you base your identity on it. Because memory is identity, isn't it? That's the lie we're told. That who you are is the sum of what you remember. But what if memory is just a loop of editorialized trauma, infinitely refined by your need for punishment? Studies show that regret-intensified memory activates both the amygdala, emotional processing, and the medial prefrontal cortex, fusing feeling with autobiographical narrative. This fusion creates self-blame loops, where the pain of regret is used to reconstruct the memory, which in turn deepens the regret. You begin to remember not what happened, but how guilty you felt about what happened. Eventually, the feeling becomes the fact. And this loop doesn't stay confined to one moment. It spreads. Your entire timeline becomes colored by a few sharpened failures. Memory contamination begins. You begin to reinterpret unrelated events through the lens of regret. The pattern spreads like ink. Like rot, regret teaches the brain to prioritize emotional pain over objective recall. You begin to prefer the painful version, because the painful version feels more real, more earned. You internalize it, defend it. You build a life around it. And now, memory is not a place you visit. It's a sentence you're serving. You believe that remembering would help you make peace. But the brain doesn't seek peace. It seeks patterns. Closure is noise. Repetition is signal. And the strongest signal? Pain. Pain means threat. Pain gets priority. Pain gets remembered. So the moment becomes more painful every time you revisit it. Not by accident, by design. You're not healing. You are self-authoring a mythology of failure. And memory is your scripture. And the deepest cruelty? There is no original moment to return to. The true version is gone, if it ever existed. All that remains is the version your pain permitted. The one that hurts just enough to explain why you're still here. Not moving, not forgiving, not forgetting. This isn't memory. This is recursive self-harm wearing the mask of introspection. And if every time you remember, you make the wound deeper, how will you ever know when it was real and when you just made it worse? Topic 4. The regret circuit, hardwired to hurt. You thought regret was emotional, a pang, a thought, a response to something you did. But it isn't a response.